Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury Interviews. Today we have Gord Apolloni, and he is the head master trainer at Top Glove Boxing on Lawrence Street in Sudbury. And they're training athletes to compete at higher levels. We're going to be talking about that today. Just before we begin, you can find us on Sudstown and join the conversation. If you would like to be a guest on the show, please reach out. Hey, Gord, thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having me. And I love doing this.
Great, yeah. So you have a lot, we have a lot to talk about. Let's start out with tell us a little bit about how you were drawn to boxing and how it started for you.
All right, here we go. When I was growing up, it was kind of rough crossing the railroad tracks from Little Italy and Coppercliff into the English part of it. Basically, we had to put our hands up and start battling on the way to school and on the way home. My dad used to own a duplex. And my coach lived in one side, and we lived on the other side. And well, so one day, he saw me fighting on the street, and apparently he stopped the car and watched for a while, and and then he left. When I got home that day, um, my dad said, "Peter wants you to go to the boxing club." I said, "Well, I can't." He said he saw you fighting on the street, and maybe you got some raw talent there that he can develop. And that was the beginning of the end. We started boxing, and then you know, uh, 54 years later, here we are.
So Sudbury was a rough town back then?
Coppercliff was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, we called it the English Club. It was developed for people that lived at Inco or worked at Inco and mainly English, and we had English friends as well. They tried to get us in, and they wouldn't allow us in there. So it was that bad, even during that time, then in the 60s and 70s.
So you were discovered at a street fight and this guy was driving by, he saw you fighting and saw your talent?
You got it.
That's that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Have you told this story before?
Oh yeah, no, I've told it before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's yeah. So uh, it was a rough time growing up. We had friends. All the Italian guys would come, basically go to school at the same time, and then so we looked after each other, and on the way home we looked after each other as well.
So where was this fight club back then?
The boxing club was
Yeah.
the Fruit Shamrock Boxing Club, and that was right off of Kathleen Street, right in between the confectionery and the Fruit Hotel. It was
Wow.
the parking lot. The parking lot in between there. Well, there was a building in the very back of that parking lot, and that's where I started the Fruit Shamrock Boxing Club.
So what came after that?
Well, after that, um, we had my first fight approximately a year and a half later, and that was at the Woodland Hotel in Valley East. I fought Clinton Haggard, and I weighed in at I was 11 years old, 105 pounds, and boom, I won my first fight. My parents said, "Oh, we'll let him box, and he'll lose his first or second fight, and then he'll end up quitting."
Not this guy.
No, 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 no. So I had it was a great time to begin boxing. I had a lot of friends that started up with me afterwards, but a lot of them didn't continue on. So yeah,
So your first fight, you were 11 years old and you won.
I won it. I won my second. I won my third. I won my first 10 fights, and
Wow.
I lost one because I thought I was the king of the world, right? I didn't have to run, didn't have to do anything, and I learned the hard way. So that's why I'm so hard on my own kids here at the boxing club that you have to run, You have to train. You consistency, motivation, the whole bit encompasses the end result.
So you can never like rest on your victories.
Oh, geez, no. There's always someone out there. There's always someone out there that's looking for your belt, if you want to call it that. Always, always. And then that goes to sport and life run parallel. And unfortunately, I might get heck for this, but in the schools today, they're trying to show that everyone is equal, which is great, but it's not. When in business, there's a winner and there's a loser, and in sport, there's a winner and there's a loser. Regardless of what sport that you're in. Yeah, sure, there may be a tie here and there, but no. Uh, so we have. I feel that we have to get away from that because we're raising kids right now that are living in a fairy tale
Hmm.
fantasy life. We've got to get them back into reality.
Are you seeing a lot of talent out at your club there?
A lot of talent, a lot of talent, and the issue is this: um, they don't want to work. There are several that are working good and hard, uh, but the entitlement, right? I want to be the champion, but I don't want to be the work do the work.
Wow.
It's typical. It's typical. I've spoken to every other coach that I know. They're having the same issues. Yeah, so raw talent, great. But if you don't want to do the work behind it, not great. Especially in boxing, you can't pass the glove. You can't pass the headgear. You can't pass. Something you got to do it. And at the end of the day, you have to be the one that's doing the running, the consistency in the gym, uh, the whole bit. And if you're not doing that, well then boxing is not a sport for you. Because eventually you're going to get hit in the nose. Mike Tyson said it best. It's all fun and games until you get punched in the nose, right? So.
So, in your estimation, like, what is a possible cause of why the newer generation is like that?
Again, I'll probably get into trouble, but you know, uh, everyone gets a certificate for doing something great. You know, respect, 100% attendance in school. Um, you know, that's supposed to be expected of you as a human being. Respect. Showing up for class. All that, and you get a reward for that. You get a reward. Even for allowance at home. My kids never got an allowance. Not in my place. You know, you're expected to do your bed. You're expected to clean up the house. You're expected to sweep the floor. You're expected to wash, take care of the washroom. That's not happening anymore.
Hmm.
We're going off topic here, but
Oh, that's okay. I think I understand what you're saying, though.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Even here at the boxing club, I've got to pull teeth for like this is not my gym. It's the kids' gym, right? So I get the kids to clean the washroom. I get the kids to pick up the garbage, like they bring it over to the garbage bin. You know how hard that is to have that done? Because they're not doing it at home. I got parents that come in here and say, I want you to teach my kids discipline. No, no, no. That's your job at home.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you don't have all that stuff, all that, what you're supposed to have learned at home, and you come here to the gym, you can have your ass handed to you in the ring.
Yeah.
'Cause you don't have that. You don't have the respect. You don't have the motivation. You don't have that momentum. You don't have all that. You know, if you're fed by a silver spoon, oof, boy, there's a reality check, and it's not going to be going.
So, who are some of your influences in the boxing world? I did I see a picture of you with Muhammad Ali online?
You got it. Yeah, 1996 Olympics. So him and I, we were having breakfast at the Olympic Games, and I heard a big commotion. So I looked back, and then I saw this entourage coming through. What the? Who the heck's that? Who is that? So I get up on my chair. Oh my God, it's Muhammad Ali. So I raced down, and they wouldn't let me in the inner circle. And I said, I trained with Angelo Dundee for a week in Miami, and I never thought he would remember. Anyways, I said, "Hey, Angelo, he said, hey, let him in, let him in." So I was able to get into the circle, and said, you know, can you take a picture with me and Muhammad? And he snapped the picture. That was fantastic. And unfortunately, Muhammad he wouldn't talk because he couldn't talk at that time. But yeah, no, it was what that was probably one of the highlights of the Olympics.
So he was one of your heroes.
Yeah, my idol though, um, as a boxer, was Roberto Duran. Um, he reminded me. Well, not reminded me. He was like I was with the raw talent and you know the motivation and the wanting not wanting to lose, wanting to win. You know, wanting to win. That was the biggest thing. And he did everything that he possibly potentially could to do it. And I fought in the exact same way. If you ever watch, if you ever go on YouTube and see Gord Apolloni versus Petri Palampera from Finland, I stopped him in the first round and then 26 seconds of the first round in Coppercliff. It was Canada versus Finland, both national teams going head to head. And it was in my hometown, Coppercliff, and it was at the arena. The place was packed. There
Hmm.
were like 1,500 people there. And a lot of people were disappointed because they went to the washroom, they came back, and then the fight was over.
You beat him. You beat him. That. What was his name again?
Petri Palampera.
Oh boy.
Yeah. If you go on YouTube, you'll be able to see it.
So you took him. You took him out in the first 30 seconds.
First 30 seconds, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And
That's.
yeah, the Northern Life interviewed him afterwards, and he said, "So what do you think of your opponent from Canada?" He said, "He's a brute. He's an animal. I never expected that from him."
Well, he was probably one of the kids who didn't change the garbages and stuff in his household.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah,
He got
yeah,
it
yeah,
handed to him.
yeah, for sure.
So what's going on nowadays with the club?
You know, where our main focus is to develop better citizens in our community. And that means, you know, teaching them to take the garbage out, teaching them to, you know, sweep the floor, teaching them to clean the toilet, teaching them to be respectful while you're here at the gym, and respectful to your parents at home. Well, if we develop that, fantastic. We make better citizens in our community. You know, and if they become great good boxers, that's just a bonus. That's just a bonus. You know, and sport. You know, if I don't know if you heard the latest thing that sport in Canada is broken. Did you hear that in the news last night?
Well, I don't watch. I'm not a news watching person,
Yeah.
but I
So
can. Yeah.
that was one of the headlines, and you know, sport's been broken for a long time. Being national coach, I saw it right at the top level, and so we've got to fix that. We've got to start right at the grassroots, and you know, I was going to run for MP because I thought maybe I could do something. No, no, not at all. It all comes from the top down, not from the bottom up. So until that changes, sport will be seen as a third rate activity in Canada. Money's not being dumped into the grassroots of sport at all. by the federal government. Yeah, they're pushing it off to the provincial government, but all levels have to help. When you go when you travel the world as I have, you go to the South America, you won't believe the facilities that those guys have to train in. You know, I feel sorry for Darius Zulich because he tried to do something that they do in South America. Build a multi-complex sports center, you know,
Yeah.
and you have, well, we just came back from Marquette, Michigan. They have a dome over there. Within the dome, they have football, and then they blow air in they blow air in the under the turf. Turf comes up. They roll the turf up, and there's a track underneath it. So there's track and field there, and they have stands, right? Stands all the way around, and underneath those stands, there's weightlifting, there's boxing, there's wrestling, there's everything. There's dancing. That's a multi-purpose center, and my God, I feel like I said, I feel sorry for Dario that it didn't happen. A lot of opposition behind it, but maybe because of where he wanted it built. But the idea was there, and that's where we have to go to. It's not, you know, you just can't throw sport a couple $1 million a year before the Olympic Games and then expect Canada to do well there. And that's not right, and it's not going to happen. And the people that have done well, the athletes, the boxers, anyways, that have done well, have been around for two Olympic cycles. Like our last Olympic medalist, uh, Wyatt Sanford. He went to Tokyo, and he understood then that what he has to do for the next Olympics. He came back in Paris and won a bronze medal. So, you know, but why did that happen? It was because he got some support, financial support. If we don't have the financial support, we're not going anywhere. We're going to fall behind Colombia. We're going to fall behind Brazil. We're going to fall behind Argentina, and because those countries from South America are basically developing their grassroots people. And we're not doing that here in Canada. Just like that report said last night, sport here in Canada is broken. And you know what? It's been broken for a long time. I was just totally ashamed that I was with the national team right from 1992 when Mike Stewart from Top Glove won the World Championships. They brought me on board and they said, Gord, let's change this. Well, you can't change attitude. You can't change attitude. When your own athletes don't want to win, they just want to party. Well, we have an issue here. When the coach wants to win more than the athlete, we got an issue. And a
So
lot of that, yeah, go ahead.
what happened with that there in '92?
1992, Mike Stewart won the World Championships
And
from
he's
Top Glove
he's from
Box.
Sudbury,
He,
or
he's from Sudbury. See, you didn't even know.
no? I didn't know.
Yeah, and that's not your fault. So Mike Stewart is the last male boxer for Canada to win a gold medal at a World Championships.
Wow.
1992. Now that's great news for Top Glove, but that's embarrassing to even say that. You know,
Yeah.
we have the pedigree here. We just don't have the financial backing, right? It's crap. It's total crap. The governments have to get out their butts and if they're going to talk about it, well then do it. We had our 35th anniversary at the Caruso Club back May 22nd, and we had all the government officials, all levels. They all came in. They said, Sport is a great way of developing individuals. Da 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 da. Well, okay. You said that. Now back it with money, because that's what's gonna save our friggin' community. That's what you know. Less people with obesity, less people with depression, less everything, less people going to the hospital. But they don't see it. They don't see it. I've talked to many politicians. It's all about their buddies, right? I may not be making many friends with this interview.
So everything that you're doing, because you're doing tournaments and fight nights and stuff over
Yeah,
there. You're all
yeah.
doing that without any funding, any help from anyone.
Well, what we do, how we do it is we get sponsors, right? And now listen, Top Golf has been around for 35 years. We've been very fortunate that we have a lot of supporters that I can just make a phone call and say, listen, we have a show coming up. Do you want a table at that event? Yeah, sure, Gord. The tables are $1,000 a piece. Table of eight, you get some goodies with it. You're in the ring presenting awards. You're announced throughout the whole evening as a corporate sponsor. And you know what? That $1,000 goes a long ways. It pays our rent. It allows us to bring boxers to Toronto, because the closest gym from us is 3 hours north, 3 hours east, and 3 hours west, and 3 hours south. So, you know, we have to do it on our own, and we're doing it. We're doing it, and you know, without money, we wouldn't do anything. There wouldn't be anything. Right now, we've got one kid. He's second in Canada, Jackson Savoy. We have another kid that actually the two of them now are going to the provincial championships. Giancarlo Scopazzi, he's going to the provincial championships with Jackson in October. So tomorrow we're having a barbecue car wash at the um, um, Chris's Independent Grocers. And Chris has been a big supporter of us as well. This is not our first barbecue, if you want to call it that.
No
Not our
pun
first
intended.
yeah, it's not our first barbecue there. And last year we raised $2,500. So that paid for the kids to go down there. That's phenomenal, you know. Chris's Independent Grocers has been phenomenal with us. This is our third year now that we're having a barbecue. Like I said, it's not our first barbecue. Uh, Last year we raised $2,500 because of Chris allowing us to have our barbecue and our car wash. So you know, we have to do these kind of things because we're not getting any funding from uh, any level for that matter. We have our events where we sell tables for $1,000, and there's eight per table, and they're in the ring presenting awards. They're announced as a corporate sponsor throughout the whole event, um, uh, and they got goodies on the table, etc. Their name, corporate name is on the table and all that. So anytime that we have events, that's when I make the phone call. I don't even have to go to their location, and have a conversation with them. It's just a quick call, and we're in. Yes, perfect, good. And it's a great night because there's all local talent here, and they're witnessing potentially someone that's going to be going to the Olympic Games, right here in Sudbury. We've had two boxers at the Olympic Games. Phil Boudreau, of course, everyone knows him, and Casey Patton. Now Casey Patton was all overshadowed because of Phil, but you know what can you do? And then we had Amber Conical, who plays third in the world. Um, so the pedigree is here. It just we have to bring it out in each one of the individuals that partake in the program. And like we said earlier, that's a difficult thing to do now because entitlement is a big thing now. Uh, yeah.
So the next question, Gord, is what I call the daily segment, and that's what something I ask every guest that comes on. What is one thing that you feel would make Sudbury greater?
Sudbury Grader or Sudbury Sports Grader?
Whichever you want. That's the same.
Okay, so we need input from the city at grassroots level. We need them to talk to other levels of government so that we can have these multi-purpose sport complexes so that we can have kids that can't afford sport being able to attend each level at any time. Um, like I said, if you have kids that begin sport at a young age, typically they'll carry that on throughout life, and so you're going to look at less people with obesity, less people with diabetes, less people with mental health issues, and et cetera, et cetera. That is what's going to make Sudbury great. We'll have less homeless. We'll have less people going to the food banks. It's all the holistic approach to the development of the youth, and I'm all game for that. So that has to happen.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. Sudbury interviews, everyone. And Gord, I want to thank you sincerely for taking a moment. I know you're very busy, and I'm going to have to get you back on sometime because there's a lot more to talk about for sure. I just try to keep the interviews that.
Listen, buddy, I got 55 years of sport, of boxing, and we just touched the surface. I tell you that right now.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
That's it, my friend. Let's get sport going here in the city.
That sounds good to me. Thanks for your time, Gord.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.